What's up, everyone? Welcome to Ashley Talks Movies, and welcome to my review of Jurassic World Rebirth, the 7th installment in the Jurassic Park/Jurassic World franchise. This one is directed by Gareth Edwards from a script written by David Koepp, who also wrote the script for the original Jurassic Park movie, as well as the 1997 sequel, The Lost World. Scarlett Johansson plays Zora Bennett, a covert ops specialist who is recruited by a big pharma rep, played by Rupert Friend, to lead a dangerous expedition to an island inhabited by dinosaurs to collect samples that may be the key to a life-saving medical breakthrough. They recruit Dr. Henry Loomis, played by Jonathan Bailey, a paleontologist who has reservations about the mission, but is also intrigued by the possibility of learning more about the dinosaurs. Once they reach the island, the team and a stranded family they cross paths with must try to survive the dangers lurking at every turn. Before I jump into the review, do me a favor, make sure you subscribe, that way you can keep up with everything I'm posting on the channel, including all of the movie reviews, entertainment news, and more.
This would be a medical breakthrough that could save countless lives. It comes from the largest dinosaurs on the planet.
Oh my God.
Fortunately for us, all these species exist in one isolated place. Can you be ready tomorrow?
I can guarantee your safety. I mean, more or less.
More or less?
I consider myself a Jurassic Park fan. I get excited every time there's a new Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie that comes out, but in the last few years, I've had to sort of manage those expectations because the last few movies have been pretty disappointing. So I went into Jurassic World Rebirth not with the highest expectations, but also not with the lowest expectations. My expectations were somewhere in the middle. And after watching the movie, I thought it was a pretty good movie, pretty solid entry into the franchise, and it certainly wasn't the worst movie that has come out in this franchise. Now, that might not be high praise, but I think considering what happened with Fallen Kingdom and Dominion, which I think fell really short of what the franchise could do, Jurassic World Rebirth feels like a step in the right direction. Now, the story is a little thin, but I will give it some credit in that it is an interesting concept, even if it's not executed in the best way. You do have some interesting characters, you have clear stakes, it's not overly complicated or convoluted, which was very refreshing. I do wish the story would have delved a little deeper into the backstory, because you get this really interesting opening sequence that sets up what the rest of the plot is going to be once the team gets to the island, but doesn't give you a lot of details. And as the story goes on, I did have some questions that I thought could have been answered had a little bit more time been spent diving a little deeper into the lore. They might be saving that for the sequels. If there's going to be sequels, there's probably going to be sequels. The dialogue here is a little clunky. It's not really a problem until you get to some of the dialogue heavy scenes, and there are a few of them. One in particular involves Scarlett Johansson's character Zora and Mahershala Ali's character Duncan, who is her old friend and also her right-hand man on this mission. That entire scene is used to kind of give these characters some depth and development, and it does in a way, but the dialogue that they deliver is just some of the worst dialogue I've heard in a movie in quite a while. And even these two top-notch actors couldn't save it. Now, for the most part, the characters here feel like real people and not just stock characters, which was really refreshing, because often in movies like this, they can reduce the characters to just being, caricatures or, placeholders for a certain type. There is one character in this movie that I thought was just absolutely annoying, and I just really would have rather this character have not been in the movie. But, what can you do? Now, when it comes to the performances, I think there are two standouts. The first being Mahershala Ali, who's playing Duncan, again, Zora's friend and right-hand man. He's very good here, and I liked his character. I liked the dynamic between him and Zora. Jonathan Bailey ended up being my favorite out of the entire movie. I really loved how he played his character. He's playing the paleontologist, Dr. Henry Loomis. And he plays this character with such enthusiasm, wide-eyed enthusiasm. And it makes sense because Dr. Henry Loomis is a big old nerd. And his reaction to seeing the dinosaurs, getting up close with the dinosaurs, going on this mission is how I think I would probably react if I was able to do that. He's just such a fun character. His character is also a nice little subtle callback to the first Jurassic Park. One of the things I really enjoyed about this movie was the dinosaurs. I mean, if you're going to have a Jurassic Park movie or a Jurassic World movie, you got to have dinosaurs and you got to do them right. The thing that this movie understands is that the dinosaurs are both incredibly beautiful, majestic creatures, but that they're also dangerous. And the movie highlights that when these people are on the island, they are trying to survive because the dinosaurs are trying to eat them. The dinosaurs are chasing them. This is not a movie that shies away from the fact that the dinosaurs are dangerous, and you get some very intense action sequences because of that. The action here is done very well, I thought. Very intense at times, very thrilling at times. There's a lot of suspense here. And I think there's two specific sequences in this movie involving the dinosaurs that I thought were the best action sequences in the movie. The first one is a scene in the ocean involving dinosaurs and a boat. I think it's absolutely amazing. It's also in the trailers, so you've probably seen it. I'm not going to delve deeper into it because I don't want to do spoilers here, but it is an amazing sequence. The other one is also in the trailers, and it's a river raft scene involving the T-Rex. And this scene, again, has been used in pretty much every ad and trailer for this movie, but it's only been snippets. The whole scene, once you see it, is probably one of the most intense and thrilling moments in the movie. And the dinosaurs here are big and imposing, which I think speaks to, director Gareth Edwards, who has experience with movies like Godzilla, where he understands like terrifying creatures and how to use them and how to show them. We're also dealing with mutant dinosaurs here. And, people might agree or disagree with me, but I actually thought the designs of these dinosaurs looked really cool. I also really like the score here. It's composed by Alexandre Desplat, and I thought he did a really good job of like creating his own music, but also interweaving the original Jurassic Park score from John Williams. You also have some really amazing cinematography here, and I think part of that was because parts of this movie were actually shot on location, and you can really see that in some of the shots when they're on the island. I mean, you get some really beautiful, beautiful scenes, but this movie is also CGI heavy, and unfortunately, the CGI isn't the greatest. And in fact, I think that was one of the things that kind of held back the dinosaurs from being, truly amazing, is because this was so CGI heavy. I really wish this franchise would go back to using CGI as well as practical effects, puppetry or animatronics, to create these dinosaurs, because especially when you get in those action sequences and moments where you have some really up close scenes with these dinosaurs, it really would have benefited from having practical effects. Now, this movie is a tad too long, and I think that's the case with most of these movies where they start getting past the 2-hour mark and you really don't see the need for it to be that long. The story itself isn't overstuffed, I don't think, but I think the runtime is stretched out, and there are certain moments in this movie where you could have cut, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here to make this feel a little bit more focused and a little tighter. I also think the ending is a little anticlimactic, only because there's a very specific decision that's made in the finale that I thought cheapened the emotional impact that moment could have had. If they had committed to what they set up in that moment, I think it would have been a much stronger ending, but they didn't, and so it falls a little flat. As I said in my out of the theater reaction, I don't think Jurassic World Rebirth is the best Jurassic Park or Jurassic World movie, but I do think it's a solid entry in the franchise. I think it has more in common with Jurassic Park than it does with the Jurassic World movies, and I think that's because it's trying really hard to get back to the basics. I think it's trying really hard to get back to what made people really love this franchise. And no, it's not perfect, but it does a lot of things really well, and I think there's a lot to like about this movie. So those are my thoughts on Jurassic World Rebirth. It's out in theaters on July 2nd, which is Wednesday, so it's just a few days away. Are you excited about this movie? Do you plan on seeing it in theaters? Let me know in the comments. While you're here, like and subscribe, and stick around for more videos like this.